YouTube, Darktanman, back at it again, today with more content. As you can tell from the title of the video, we're going to be talking about my new Fuji Sportif 2.3. New to me at least, but it's not exactly a new bike. I did a little bit of research and discovered that it's actually a 2016 model. But it still rides pretty well, and I think I'm going to hang on to it just because during my first ride I enjoyed it for the most part. I also learned a couple things along the way, which I'm going to break down in a video. Also going to talk about my experience in general riding a gear bike for the first time. But first, I want to clear up a big misconception that I had and some of you may have as well. Having a gear bike doesn't necessarily make you faster. It just basically gives you a broad range of gears to use for a given situation. So basically the biggest thing there is promoting more efficiency as you cycle, okay? The biggest part of that is being able to evenly distribute your energy throughout the ride so you're not tiring yourself out too early, and that way you're conserving enough energy to get through the entire ride as a whole. All right, as you can clearly tell here with this gear bike, you have your front chain ring and you have your rear cog. There's a bigger one here on the outside, which the chain is on at the moment, and there's a smaller one. During my ride, as I was playing with the gears, I clearly just kind of went in this cold turkey without doing any research, but came back to find out that this left gear here on my left handlebar controls the front chain ring and where the chain goes. So you can alternate between the larger front chain ring or the smaller chain ring. And the biggest thing there is you have a high gear and you have a low gear. Low gear is best for acceleration. So ideally for getting a good acceleration, you might want to start off on a smaller front chain ring with also going on the smaller rear cog. But when you pick up speed, you may want to move into a high gear. Once you're in a high gear, that's the preferred gear you want to be in when you're riding at higher speeds or descending down a hill. And you will definitely notice the difference between the gears as you get experience on your own. And that's the best way to kind of describe the feeling is by getting out there, getting the gear bike and playing with the gears on your own. And so after finding out that the left handlebar gear was basically for the front chain ring, obviously this right gear here was basically for controlling the rear cog. Okay, so there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's about 7 different rear cog rings on the back that you could change. So it's quite a bit, but honestly, I haven't gotten that deep into it to where I say for this situation, switch to this rear cog. It's just more so either the smaller one or the larger one, depending on your situation at a certain point in your ride, okay? And so again, when you're getting ready to accelerate, you definitely want to start off in that low gear with getting in maybe in the smallest front chain ring and the smallest rear cog in the back. But once you get in a high gear, picking up that speed, you definitely want to make sure you're on the biggest front chain ring cog and then on the smallest chain ring cog on the back. That way you can maintain your speed as you continue along your path or your route. A great analogy to compare it to is if you're driving a car, specifically a manual or stick shift car. If you're in low gear and you're trying to pick up speed and you're trying to carry that speed for the entire ride, you're going to have a high fuel consumption. So again, if you're in a low gear, you're going to burn energy because it's less tension because you're in a smaller chain ring, so you're going to be pedaling fast, and that way you're going to burn more energy and you're going to have less fuel for later down the road. So same thing, once you get in that stick shift, you may start off in a low gear and accelerate, but once you start to pick up that speed in your stick shift, you want to switch to a higher gear, and that way you can maintain that speed while maintaining a healthy amount of fuel consumption. Same thing with the bike, you want to stay in a higher gear for higher speeds, essentially, is kind of the best way to explain or give yourself a reminder at which gears to use when you're cycling, okay? Overall, I'm pretty excited about the gear bike. It was a great ride, even though it was about 40 degrees outside. I enjoyed it, so I'm definitely looking forward to getting this thing out in better conditions when the sun comes out and stays out a little bit longer. That way we can get more experience, as well as I can give you guys more feedback on my experience. That way you can have the knowledge and you're prepared for shopping or riding your first gear bike. With that said, before I wrap up, if you enjoy the video, please go ahead and hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already subscribed. And be on the lookout for more content. Darktan out.